stop and see how beautiful they are.
On the piano right there.
Dr. Barry Ebert on the vocals.
Hey everybody, my name is Sarah and welcome to Mile High Church. Thank you so much for spending a portion of your weekend with us, especially if you're new. Our vision, Oneness Revealed, a world of love, peace, and abundance for all. Our mission, to serve as a spiritual beacon for personal empowerment and global enlightenment. Before we get started today, we want to give you a look at a few things coming up at Mile High Church for you and your family. Immerse yourself in Tibetan Buddhism. Explore ancient practices of mantra, ritual, and visualization. Awaken your heart and experience greater joy with Zamira Jasworska on November 5th. And discover the wisdom of Joseph Campbell in The Art of Living with Josh Reeves on November 7th. Reflect on a deeper exploration of relationships, success, and meaning in your life.
Awe is often described as an ineffable experience, something difficult to articulate yet profoundly moving. Why find awe? Because it calms down the nervous system and releases feel-good neurotransmitters promoting bonding, trust, and love. Join us at Mile High Church to hear Dacher Keltner discuss awe, the new science of everyday wonder and how it can transform your life.
For more information about anything you've heard today, visit the Event Center or connect with us online at milehighchurch.org or check out our cool new Vesta board.
If you haven't seen that in the lobby, you have to go look. There's over 9,000 pieces of folded paper, and it's incredible. Go check it out. But for now, we're going to sing together. You guys ready? Okay, here we go. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. Yeah. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. Here we go. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world.
Thank you, Tom Litch. Thank you, Mile High Band. This is the premiere of this session of the choir. Let's hear it for Rebecca Stoudemire, their director, these incredible folks. They sound wonderful. Some of you may have heard we had a power outage in the building here, so we got to do Mile High Unplugged at 8 a.m., so we're really excited to do it plugged in today. Hey, this is our beautiful Adventures in Faith Committee. They've been co-creating the services all of October. And we are here to, frankly, take our nautical theme a little too far today. I think we're going to go with the metaphysical interpretation of Gilligan's Island, right? The minnow is the soul. The 3-hour tour is symbolic of the life. And within ourselves, we hold multiple personalities, a little bit of Ginger, a little bit of Mr. Hal, a little bit of the professor. And, some of us, we suppress that inner Gilligan when we really need to bring Marianne more forward. Are you sick of it yet? Okay. All right. We'll stop right there. But we're glad you're here at Mile High Church. If you're new here, this is a sanctuary, online and in person, filled with whole people committed to living whole lives no matter what. You're surrounded by inspiring people, including the people here on stage. And since you're up here, are you up for leading us in our vision and mission this morning? All right, it's coming up on the screens. We have screens this service. This is great. If you want to say it along with us, it goes like this. Our vision, oneness revealed. A world of love, peace, and abundance for all. And our mission, to serve as a spiritual beacon for personal empowerment and global enlightenment. So before we move into our shared time of spiritual practice with song and silence and a prayer from our beloved Dr. Michelle today, I just want to take a moment to honor the life of Peg Goff, who is a beloved Mile Higher who recently made her transition. We send love to her daughter and to her entire family. She was a beloved volunteer in our infant and toddler room and did many other things here. And so we're going to be honoring her with a service on Saturday at 1:30 p.m. So with that, let us take a collective breath together, honoring that place where we find the eternal within ourselves, that which connects us not only with the divine, but with all of those who we've ever loved, that divine cord of love. Honoring Peg and all of her contributions to life, I just simply know that they continue to speak to the hearts of all those who loved her.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
Breathing in the breath of life together here and now. We acknowledge the one presence, the one power, the one light, the one source, the creative force in this universe that expresses itself in all, through all, and as all. And in that same breath, not only do we sense that infinite one everywhere present, we can feel the consciousness that each one of us is that attunes to that infinite one, and recognize that right here, right now, right where we are, that life, that power, that love is expressing itself through our body temple, through our heart and emotions, through our mind as we think, through our words as we speak, through our actions, that we are the very living embodiment of the divine one in every way, in everything that we do. And what a joy it is to feel whatever motivated us this morning to step into spiritual community together. Whether we are in this beautiful sanctuary or watching online, we recognize that something has called us to be here. Some desire that Spirit has as us to be in community, to experience that deeper walk with our own spiritual magnificence, to express ourselves fully and completely, to be uplifted and loved and seen, to be here right now. And so we attune ourselves to that desire that brought us here today, just as beautifully as this guitar playing behind me has attuned itself with the aid of the musician in concert and cooperation, such that the instrument plays and expresses itself. We are the instruments of the divine, coming together from our various paths of living, being the full, unique expression that we are, and yet acknowledging the one that powers it all. We are that which it is. And therefore, that motivation that has brought us here, I accept and affirm, is absolutely fulfilled. It's fulfilled through everything we are and do together this day as a spiritual community. It is fulfilled through the activity of this service. It is fulfilled through the experience of walking amongst the beloved beings here at Mile High Church. It is fulfilled easily and effortlessly. And we are comforted, nurtured, inspired, and uplifted here today. I give thanks for this truth that is ours now. I give thanks that as I have spoken, it is so. I give thanks for the infinite that empowers this word into being now, as I simply surrender it, let it go, and let it be. Thank you, life. And so it is. Amen.
This light I see,
As we close our Adventures in Faith series, Finding Oneness in an Ocean of Uncertainty, we bring together the wisdom we have explored these past few weeks together. This fountain symbolizes oneness and the true waters of faith that flow and circulate continually through each one of us. Those waters ebb and flow. They expand and contract, increase and decrease as we move through this thing called life.
I bring the water of faith that arises from transformational vulnerability.
I bring the living water of faith as revealed in strength, stability, and security as we anchor in divine ideas.
I bring the water of faith found in the wisdom of discernment that comes from orienting towards spiritual path and practice.
I bring in the true water of faith that guides us into navigating our lives through deepening our spiritual mastery and our conscious intent.
In one drop of water are found all the secrets of all existence. In one aspect of you are found the aspects of existence. Khalil Gibran. We are all one in the ocean of God.
Hope when you take that jump, you don't fear the fall. Hope when the water rises, you build a wall. Hope when the crowd screams out, they're screaming your name. Hope if everybody runs, you choose to stay. Hope when you fall in love and it hurts so bad. The only way you can know is give it all you have. And I hope that you don't suffer and face the pain. Hope when your moment comes, you'll say, and they all add up. And when the sun goes down, I hope you raise a cup. Oh, I wish that I could witness all your joy and all your pain. But until that moment comes, I say, this
swear I live. I swear I live. I swear I
Thank you, Mile High Choir. Rebecca, I know that you had quite the off season. You've been through so much. You've been taking care of your health. I just want you to know how lucky we are to have you and how blessed and grateful we are to have you as a director and you and your family here. Tom and band, thank you so much. So good to have Barry with us, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Samira, I was going to...
Come on, Skipper, we need you back.
Right. Now we're going to the metaphysical meaning of Captain and Tennille as we look at their songs today. We are so blessed at Mile High Church to have what we call our renowned speaker program. It is part of our vision to bring and discover and cultivate the spiritual leaders and the voices that we need not only to improve our lives, but our world as well. And one of those speakers we found, his name is Dacher Keltner. He's coming this upcoming Friday, November 1st. He's a scientist who is an expert in emotion, so much so that he was a key consultant for the Inside Out films. And so we're so looking forward to having him, and he has done an immense amount of scientific study on this thing called awe. And so Friday night, we're creating this space where he's going to share with us how awe can improve your physical health, your psychological health, and your spiritual health, as we know, so that we can live more whole and abundant lives. I know that there's a lot of feeling of hoopla with an election coming up. What a wonderful opportunity to have a little respite, to get back to what matters most in our lives, and just to receive a great amount of inspiration. So how many people are going to the event? All right. So if you're not going, we're selling tickets on either side and online. We would love to have you. And so now the question you really want answered is, he's going to wear that silly hat the whole talk? And the answer is no. I'm going to let it go. Denise, would you like the hat for now? Okay. Grateful to be completing our adventure in faith today. Finding true waters is our message today. Finding the true waters. Ralph Waldo Emerson, our philosophical forefather of our philosophy, he said, "That is always best which gives me to myself." That is always best which gives me to myself. Does that resonate with you? Sure the hell does resonate with me. Let's say it together. That is always best which gives me to myself. What for you are those activities, those practices, those relationships that help you to feel yourself again? Because I want you to know they're the secret to living a great life. I don't know about you, but when things are challenging, I tend to blame myself. Anybody else do that? I think there's something wrong with me. And that's why this challenge is taking place in my life. But if we could only make that little switch to see that what is really going on is that a greater version of ourselves is being called forth. It's not being who I am that's messing things up. It's not being enough of who I am that's causing me this challenge. We forget sometimes that when we don't think for ourselves, we let someone or something else do the thinking for us. Doesn't that scare you a little bit? It scares me, especially in election time when we know people whose job is to get us to not think for ourselves. If we don't feel for ourselves, we allow the perceived feelings or fears about other people become the center of our life. And when we don't prioritize for ourselves, we let anyone and anything set the priorities for us. We lose ourselves. And thus, it is so important to be able to recognize that which allows us to get back to being who we are. Sometimes it's doing something playful or relaxing. Sometimes it's making intimate connections, having conversations with people here in your spiritual community at Mile High Church. Sometimes it's learning to re-engage in a meaningful spiritual practice. If you ever take a class with me here at Mile High Church, you've probably heard me say, if you get anything out of this teaching and your time and this philosophy, I pray it is a daily spiritual practice. There is no greater way I know that gives me back to myself, that allows me to find those true waters, to look within them, and to see my true self looking back at me. A former Trappist monk with Thomas Merton and psychologist by the name of James Finley, he had a definition of spiritual practice that works for me. It goes like this: it is any act habitually entered into with your whole heart as a way of awakening, deepening, and sustaining a contemplative experience of the inherent holiness of the present moment. I love that. The inherent holiness of the present moment. By caring for ourselves, by going to our own well, we unlock an experience of the divinity. By taking care of ourselves, we reveal our relationship with a higher power. By nurturing our being, we bring forth the spirit of our becoming. And what I recommend for everybody in terms of spiritual practice is to first look at those traditional spiritual practices. Those that come to us from religion and from family and ancestry, things like meditation, prayer, forgiveness, gratitude, yoga, creating an altar, Tai Chi. Always find a couple of these that work really well for you. But don't forget about those secular spiritual practices as well. Those things you may engage in on a daily or weekly basis, that if you could bring more of a reverence for that holy that is in the present moment, could also expand your sense of spiritual life. Exercising, listening to music, having a good conversation, listening to a podcast, these things sometimes that we don't think are going to create any material good for us, actually put us back in touch with being a soul so that we can live fully and wholly again. Sometimes it's as simple as just being willing to set any plans aside for the day and just bump around, just be. One of the most important periods of my life was a little under 2-year stint that I lived in San Diego, California. And I was not happy with what led me there. I had become a minister, and my first ministry was a total failure. It was not only a failure in starting a business for me, it was also created a crisis of faith. I had ended a relationship. Have you ever been in one of those relationships where you're on the train and you see that it's about to crash, and for some reason you say, I think it's a good idea to stay on this train? So that's what I did, and it went boom. And I was lucky to get offered a job in San Diego. I was also not taking care of my body. I was smoking and drinking and not eating right. And the most wonderful thing happened in San Diego. I got to be in my own energies again. I got to live alone for a little while. I got to get back to my spiritual practice. San Diego was just this great place to walk. So I just bumped around here or there. And I probably accomplished nothing of great material good in those 2 years, but I came back to myself. I rediscovered my interiority. I got back to my center, and when we get back to our center, it sets the creative process into motion. And I can tell you, if it wasn't for that time, I would not have been capable of becoming a successful minister. I would not have been capable of becoming a good husband or father. I wouldn't have understood the importance of a commitment to thriving and well-being. So doing nothing being back in my own energies created a path for me to fulfill my purpose in career and in personal life and in personal health. I get to start teaching a class about the great Joseph Campbell here in a few weeks, and it's kind of a full circle experience for me. The class is called The Art of Living, and what it really is it's about what happens when you learn to live from your own center. And I made the class up right when the pandemic hit in and we all stayed at home. It was great marketing. Let's have an online class. We're all stuck at home. You kind of have to come. And I don't know how well the class went because I just made it up. But the idea was we're heading into survival times. And Campbell teaches us that when the world seems to be falling apart, there's only one thing you can hold on to, and that's your bliss. What you love to do, what makes you happy. Hold on to that and you'll be okay. And recreating or refining the class for coming up, it helped me to see that quote in a different way. That holding on to our bliss is actually how we bring the world together. Holding on, discovering, cultivating, and practicing our bliss is actually how we pull our lives together. By giving ourselves back to ourselves through those activities and practices that matter, it gives us everything we need, not only to confront the challenges, but to step into the potential things to celebrate in our thriving. Speaking of this idea of just wandering, of just bumping around, Campbell shares, "Oh, those were glorious experiences. I was just flopping around, sniffing out what I would do and what I wouldn't do. I only wanted to do what made sense to my interior. I don't see how one can live otherwise, and nothing is better than reading when there is nothing else to do." Now, I would love to prescribe that you all take a month off of work, family obligations, and just bump around. And I realize that for many of us, that's not possible, but even better reason to find a couple times in the day to do that which is best for giving yourself back to yourself, for remembering who you are, for recalling your spirit and realizing you don't just have a soul that exists somewhere, but that you are a soul living this human life for a reason. Find those spaces in your life so that your life isn't something you have to escape to get back to your center, but is a daily example and expression of what it means to live from your center. Because when we're not living from our own center, we're living from something else. And I promise you that something else is not good. It's not good. It's not your way. It's not your path. It's not your flow. It's not you. And if there's anything that might be missing from your life today, trust me, it's you. It's you. Campbell goes on. When you wander, think of what you want to do that day. Not what you told yourself you were going to want to do. Don't think of new things. Don't think of achievement. Don't think of anything of the kind. Just think, where do I feel good? What is giving me joy? There's an old Sufi story, Sufism being the mystical branch of Islam, where a king calls in an advisor. His kingdom is struggling, and he's looking for advice. And the advisor says, "My great king, you are like a fountain, and your kingdoms are the streams." And the king's not quite understanding. What are you trying to say? He said, "Well, if you were dying of thirst in the desert, and someone offered you a glass of water for half of your kingdom, would you give it to him?" And the king said, "I suppose I would." "And if you drank that water, and an hour later someone else told you that it was poisoned, and he would give you the antidote for the other half of the kingdom, what would you do?" "I suppose I would give it to him." "Why then," the advisor said, "would you pay so much attention to that which is only worth a glass of water, only worth an antidote?" We get so caught up in the state of our kingdom, in the state of our affairs, trying to hold everything together, trying to fix and patch those holes, forgetting that it's our own fountain, our own needs, our own well-being. If we can take care of those, that's right. Thank you for that. Amen. We can set our life into motion. Campbell continues, "I mean it. It's simply basic. Get those pressure ideas out of your system, and then you can find, like a ball on a roulette wheel, where you are going to land. The roulette ball doesn't say, well, people think better of me over there than over here. Take what comes and be where you like. What counts is being where you feel you're in your place. What people think is their problem. What if the correct response to a challenge is to do what you love? What if, when you're struggling at your most, the message is do what you love? It doesn't mean live in avoidance of the problem or the challenge. It means get back to yourself first, and you will have everything that you need to walk through and transform that challenge. The great Carl Jung was in the middle of a midlife crisis. He's in the middle of his 40s, and he's wanting to write, and he's developing all of this depth psychology, and he's feeling stuck. And he asked himself kind of a silly question: what did I love to do as a child? And the answer was play with rocks. And so he said, okay, I'll try it. So here's this 45-year-old man going into the forest, getting on his knees and playing with stones, playing with rocks. Eventually he'd become a master stonemason and build his own home. And he shares that there was some sort of dormant energy within him. Some part of his spirit that had fallen asleep, or he had fallen asleep too, that became awakened. That it all of a sudden filled him with a sense of creative vitality. And because of that practice, he shares, he was able to go on and write his great works about the shadow and archetypes and personality types and all of these things that we have so much interest in today. Just by moving into that spirit of play. Is there an activity that is meaningful to you? Perhaps that you haven't allowed yourself to embark in or engage in quite a while because you are so busy and have so much to get done. That if you could just put things down for a little bit and get back to that, you get back to yourself and back to that creative energy that wants to move you forward. In the fountain of our lives, in the river of our lives, I would love to say that everything always feels full. But the truth of it is that some of us feel flooded and some of us feel empty. How many people these days like me feel flooded? I think election season can do that to us. You're flooded when you're feeling like yourself, but you're taking on everything, even all of the world's problems. You're feeling them right there on your shoulders, and you feel that it's flood time, that there's no self-control, that the flow is running past you, and it's overwhelming. When we're empty, that's how many of us feel empty? Thank you. Honest group. It means that we've given all of our energy to supporting everything and everyone but ourselves. That we've allowed ourselves to run dry, and we've forgotten that if we don't take care of ourselves first, we cannot properly meet the spiritual, emotional, and physical needs of others. And we have that experience of drought, which feels not like solitude, but a kind of sad isolation. The great mystic Howard Thurman has some advice for those of us who feel flooded or empty. He said, the answer to the flood time of the river is a greater opening to the sea. The answer to the drought of the river is a larger opening from the sea. The sea is the answer both to the drought and the flood time of the river. The sea is our source, is that place where we meet God and we allow the divine to meet us as well. The sea is that place that is always around us, but we forget it and get so caught up in our own idea of flow, of our own sense of the amount of water that we have, that we forget that those true waters are always provided through us if we open up to allowing them into our lives. Remembering in the sense that that wholeness of who we are is always there. In our Adventures in Faith material this week, there's a little exercise where you're invited to write a little note to yourself in past time. Remember writing notes? Remember writing letters? This isn't a text message thing, not an email. Write an actual note. You're encouraged to a time in your past. I wrote to that part of me that was suffering before I went to San Diego. And I told him, Josh, I want you to know that letting go isn't failure, that it's okay to let go, and that real failure comes when we try to control, when we're unwilling to move on in the direction that life is pointing us to. The second part of the exercise is to imagine a future self that's writing to you where you are right now. In the midst of a challenge, in the midst of a celebration, what is it that you think your future self would want you to know? My future self says, Josh, give yourself a little bit more credit. You're trying really, really hard. In your work, in your family, in your personal life, take a deep breath and know that everything is going to be okay. What does that wholeness of your future self want you to know about where you might better be in relationship with who you are in the midst of whatever the uncertainties in your life may be? Thurman goes on, speaking of our flow, the flow of the sea into the river of our lives, it may twist and turn, fall back on itself and start again, stumble over an infinite series of hindering rocks. But at last the river must answer the call of the sea. It is restless till it finds its rest in the sea. Where's the sea calling you in your life? To get back to source, to get back present, to open yourself up to that greater experience of that incredible spiritual power, the only spiritual power that is, yet wants to express as the spiritual power that is who you are, the treasure, the gift, the jewel of your spirit and your vitality that your life is longing for. Campbell talks about the experience of finding our jewel, that beautiful jewel that you discover in sacred space and in sacred time, and this thing, he calls it being the master of two worlds, where you now have to take it back into the world. You're called to bring it into the world because the world needs who you are. Your loved ones need who you are. Your life needs who you are. And he says we have three choices when we discover that jewel and we're called to go back into the world, what T.S. Eliot sometimes termed the wasteland. And the first is the refusal of the call, which says, screw it, I'm moving to the woods. I'm going to stay with this feeling of being myself, and that's all I'm going to do. So that's refusal of the call. The second is refusal of the jewel, by looking out at the world and the wasteland saying, what do other people want me to be? What's going to help this person think better than me? How can I present myself in a superficial way to keep this person calm or make this situation okay? And when we do this, we refuse the gifts that we've discovered and been given. Lastly, we can enter back into that original world and become the master of two worlds, where we give our jewel with authenticity, with transparency, and with a willingness to grow. And what I have come to believe is that when we do just that, even in challenging times, it's like a vitamin C for our lives. When we stay committed to our true self and bringing that into our relationships and into our work and do all that we do, it's only practical, but it's also the greatest magic that there is. To realize that within you, within your own center, by owning who you are in your own interior, your life begins to fall into line, your vision becomes into view, and the day-to-day adventure is no longer something to control, but an adventure to enjoy. So moving into prayer as we close this Adventures in Faith, I'm inviting of our incredible practitioner prayer partners to stand and hold consciousness, just honoring our incredible spiritual community here in the sanctuary and everyone watching online as well. Let's again become aware of the affect of being given back to ourselves, of returning to the place of our beginning and realizing it is also the place of our eternality. That although we may have gotten caught up searching in the world for something to complete us, something to make us acceptable in someone else's eyes, we remember that it's been right here within us all along. That learning to trust ourselves, that finding joy in getting to know ourselves, in taking the time to articulate feelings grand and even decrepit. We communicate and bring forth our authenticity, realizing that when we do, it sets forth the creative medium into action. And our life begins to become filled with what may have felt like it was missing. A sense of deep healing, a profound flow and coherence, of a sense of resonance, reverence, and deepening with our very lives. The ability to enjoy the moment in its fullness, and also to have the optimism for ourselves, for our loved ones, for our country, that better and better things are in store. Opening ourselves to the treasure and the gift of ourselves, we find our true waters are not as far away as we may have thought, that they're right here with us, moving us onward into grander and grander experiences of this beautiful thing called life. And so it is. Amen.
I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did, and with every broken bone, I swear I live. I swear I live. I swear I live.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone, for being with us this morning. We're going to move into our time of offering, and please know how grateful I am for how you choose and how you show up to support Mile High Church financially. We are so very, very blessed. This is the last Sunday of our pledge campaign for 2025, where our ushers do have some pledge cards if you need them, but you can go online, and what we're asking you to do is, if you already give regularly to Mile High Church, if you don't mind thinking about what your monthly gift will be each month and next year, it will help us guide our ship. So we're guided at Mile High by vision, but we're also mandated by our budget. And so when you make a pledge, it helps us know what we're able to accomplish in the new year, whether that's supporting our staff. Wasn't Reverend Zamira fantastic last week, by the way? We are so blessed to have such a great ministerial team here. The programs and classes, the speakers we're able to bring in, the Sunday guest musicians we're able to bring on stage, all of this will be a result of the pledges that we receive. That being said, you know that we've received 321 of them so far for pledges next year, totaling so far $1,113,202. Isn't that fantastic? So I'd love to see us get to 400 or more pledges, and thank you for considering that prayerful commitment to Mile High. We're so very grateful for it. Speaking of things that we get to co-create, because of you, I'm really thrilled to announce that one of those things is going to start again on November 6th. It's a midweek service. So we are co-creating together a service we're calling Midweek Renewal, an evening of spiritual practice. It's going to start with a meditation at 6:40 over there in the vote. And the service is about meditation, contemplation, devotional music, prayer for ourselves and our loved ones, and forgiveness. It features practitioners and ministers, our incredible music team. So I'm really looking forward to kind of having a dry run of it through the rest of the year, because we have some special events, and then really getting it going in January. So isn't that fantastic? Yes, thank you. Looking forward to having everyone be a part of that. We've been having
Wednesday night, right? Wednesday nights?
Wednesday nights, 6:40 p.m. I'm so grateful to Dick Koch, and he's been a member of this church for a long time, a member of our Adventures in Faith committee. And each week here, we've been having people share the impact that being a part of Mile High has had on their lives. And I'm so grateful for you, Dick.
Well, thank you. Is it?
It's on.
It's on. Well, I'm here because I'm happy to be alive, and I'm very grateful. During the last part of my Prac 2 training, I got a chance to put the training and the lessons into practice in my life. I had the challenge of bladder cancer. And the whole point of the teachings and the trainings is, how can we embody this? How can we feel it in our hearts and our body? So based on the teachings and the personal support, I was able to meet that challenge. I knew from the very beginning I just didn't want the bladder cancer to go away. I wanted a deeper healing. I didn't want a superficial cure. And so through the ups and downs of the bladder cancer and will you keep your bladder or lose your bladder or what's going to happen next, I learned some important lessons I can share. One was give up illusions of control. That became very clear when everything I thought was going to happen turned out differently. And there's nothing like giving up control when you go under anesthesia. And then I'm in the hospital bed, and I'm in a fair amount of pain, and I can't move. So the lesson, well, be still and know. Well, I was still because it hurt to move. Then there was the message, you don't have to go looking for God because I couldn't move. God is right here. What can you do to get rid of the barriers to knowing that God? An important part of this for me was to be open to receive help, not just divine help, but the help that came through the teachings at Mile High, but especially from the people at Mile High. There was incredible support from my practitioner prayer partners, from my classmates in Prac 2 training, for the members of the Adventures in Faith community, from the practitioners, from the ministers at Mile High. I really had a sense of strong support and love, and that I was held. And then, as I recovered pretty quickly, I got the message, well, you got some more time on this planet. Don't take anything for granted and be grateful. And I am very, very grateful to be standing here before you and very grateful for the teachings, but especially the people of Mile High.
We're so very grateful for you, Dick, and what I know, we sometimes use this term called Mile High magic, and for me, the source of it is our people. That within this spiritual community, you're going to find the most courageous people you've ever met. They're no different than anybody else, but what they're committed to is living their wholeness in life's highs and even in life's challenges, no matter what. And when they're willing to share them with us, just like Dick, it gives us the resilience and it gives us the faith that we need to live this thing called life. So very grateful for that, Dick.
Well, thank you. And thank you for the support and for everybody here.
Yep, thank you. Would you be willing to lead us in our offering affirmation today?
I would be delighted.
All right.
Divine love
as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. Thank you, Dick.
Walking on an old road, singing a new song, bouncing back and forth in time, and I'm trying just to hum along, while these mystical connections, they keep happening to me. I finally got the gates unlocked and I'm running free, standing by the ancient shrine, looking up at a satellite, thinking back to another time, so strange but it feels so right. I am not this little man drifting on my own, a body wrapped around an ancient soul headed home. We are one ocean, the waves roll on and never stop. One ocean, and the ocean is in every drop, in every drop. The feeling doesn't go away, this joy When the Spirit calls them to the floor, somehow you know we need not be afraid, 'cause we will find our family where the rivers run into the sea, stretching endlessly. We can see we are one ocean. We are one ocean. We are one ocean. We are one ocean. We are
Barry Ebert, Mile High Band.
Thank you, Barry, Tom, Mile High Band. If you are here for the first time or a new visitor to Mile High, we have a welcome center in the middle of the lobby, and I will be there after the service to answer any questions you might have about what's going on here at Mile High Church. You may also notice our prayer practitioners are down front and available for a short affirmative prayer after the service.
Thank you, Carol. After service today, for those who are here in the sanctuary, we have what we call a Sunday moment here at Mile High. It's an art experience. So if you want to do something to help ground some of what we've been teaching all this month, thank you, Linda, for putting that together in the community center. That's going to be fantastic. Also, thank you to everyone who brought food, and those who haven't, just that right amount of spiritual guilt to bring something next week to go help the people in our greater community. They take cash donations too. Thank you to our Make a Difference team for putting that together. Zamira, will you tell us a little bit more about the incredible service that is being prepared for us on Wednesday?
Yeah, so I just wanted to invite you to consider this Wednesday is our Dia de los Muertos observation, and I'd invite you to come and to bring a picture of a loved one who has passed on, a picture of an ancestor, a picture of a spiritual teacher that has really touched your life in some way, because we are going to gather together on Wednesday, October 30th at 7 p.m. in the Vote, and we're going to really honor those ancestors through a sacred service and harvest the gifts and also steep in gratitude for the legacy that they have brought us to this point in time. So I hope to see you all there.
Thank you, Zamira. Thank you for preparing that for us and your whole team. With that, if you'd like to stand, we're going to say a benediction together and sing our peace song. The benediction goes like this. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, body, and all that I do. I give thanks for it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.
lifting you and love. Life's sweetest reward. Let it float. It floats back to you. The love boat. Soon we'll be making another run. The love boat promises something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance. And love won't hurt anymore. It's an open smile on a friendly shore. It's
Thank you, gentlemen.